Hello guys, it's W Outdoors, and on today's episode we're going over my late season whitetail gear. Hello guys, welcome to another episode of Best of Outdoors, and on today's episode we're going over my late season whitetail deer hunting gear. Of course, we're now getting on to our late season hunts, so I figured I'd show you guys my late season deer hunting gear. I've already showed you guys my setup for my firearm deer season gear that I usually use when I did my video a year ago in the other place. But now that I'm in a smaller place in an apartment, I had to legit turn my living room into my setup for my gear setup. So I pretty much took out all my gear for my late season gear, and during our late season hunts is usually follows upon the month of December. From early December all the way to the end. Our deer season here in Ontario goes on until about December 31st, and it usually follows between two different seasons. During the first part of December is our muzzleloader hunt, and then basically to the end is our late season archery. So this is basically my gear for those two seasons, for late season archery and muzzleloader season. So I'm going over all my clothing, all my gear, my bow, my gun. So hope you guys enjoy the video. Guys, first we're going to go over my late season firearm setup and my late season archery setup. So first up, I'm going to be starting with my muzzleloader setup right here. So here I have my muzzleloader setup. This is a Thompson Center Encore Pro Hunter series. I've had this gun for nearly a couple of years. I've already shot one deer with this gun, a little yearling doe back in 2022 on the second day of muzzleloader season. So that's pretty much the only deer I've ever killed with this gun. I haven't shot a lot of deer with a muzzleloader, but I do have to say, guys, I am a big muzzleloader fanatic. I love muzzleloader hunting, and if I had to choose any season to hunt whitetail deer, it would have to be muzzleloader season because I'm a big muzzleloader nerd. So I had this gun, like I said, bought it used. It has the Bushnell scope on it, if you guys can see. It has a really good scope on it too. You can see very clearly, and yeah, love my setup for muzzleloader. Is a 50 caliber, and yeah, pretty good gun. Hasn't let me down anytime I've used it. So yeah, so this is my muzzleloader setup. Now I'm going to be going over my archery setup for late season. Alright guys, I showed you my muzzleloader setup. So now I'm going to be showing you my late season archery setup. And I know you guys are going to, you diehard bow hunters are going to bash me in the comments saying that I'm not a true bow hunter, or attack my choice of basically what I use for archery equipment. So of course, I've never actually used a compound bow for deer hunting. I'm open to try it one day, but it's just, I've basically been deer hunting for close to nearly 6 years. So I haven't been really much into archery deer hunting. But when I first started deer hunting, I actually got myself a Excalibur crossbow. And I do have to say, like I said, I'm open to trying hunting deer with compound bow, but for now I'm using an archery setup. So this is a 6.340 Grizzly. I think that's what it is. I think that it is a Grizzly. I know what it is. But yeah, I've had this bow since 2019. I have not even killed a deer with this bow yet, but hopefully one of these days this thing might get the job done. But yeah, I am a big fan of Excalibur crossbows. And one year I was out bow hunting, and I broke the limb on this bow while unloading it. And of course I called up Excalibur and told them I needed a replacement limb. And of course, if you buy an Excalibur crossbow, you have warranty for life. So I called the guy, told him I need a new limb, and he basically shipped it out to me free of charge. Didn't charge me even a cent to get a new limb for my crossbow. So that's what I mean. If you're gonna buy a crossbow, I recommend buying from Excalibur because, like I said, warranty for life. And I do have a decent scope on this thing. Not really my favorite scope, but it is very clear. You can see right through it. And yeah, it is a good crossbow. Just have not killed a deer with it. So, like I said, this is my archery setup. Of course, you guys are going to say that I'm a wuss for just using a crossbow, but like I said, to all you die-hard bow hunters, one of these days I will get myself a compound bow and I will try deer hunting with a compound because I really want to get more big into bow hunting too. So, either ways, that is my late season firearm and archery setup. Now I'm going to be going over my clothing for late season deer hunting that I wear for late season deer hunting. So during late season deer hunting, the weather's going to start getting colder, and we're going to start seeing some snow on the ground and everything. So we have to keep ourselves warm during our late season hunts in the stand and everything like that. So anyways, like I said, the only thing I don't really have for my gear here is some Sitka gear. Most of the time I'm wearing Realtree camouflage, and I've always wore Realtree camouflage even when I first started deer hunting. So first up, we're going to be going over my big heavier coats right here. This is my regular Realtree coat that I wear, and as a matter of fact, it has a liner in it that it had actually an extra coat, and I got this coat back many years ago. So it has a liner in it that has an extra coat in it, and you can just take off this top part and then actually have an extra coat in here. But the problem is that the extra coat that had the zipper in it, the zipper busted off. So I really stopped wearing my coat underneath this coat. So pretty much I wear this coat just as my main coat to keep myself warm. So really nice camouflage pattern on it and everything like that. But usually if I'm wearing a thicker coat, I'll have another smaller coat underneath too. This smaller hunt shield coat that I've always worn in the last since 2021, and I usually put that on underneath my main hunting coat. So this coat's more of actually a windbreak than anything, but this one's actually extra layering on the bottom. If I get too warm, I can always take that coat off and then just leave this coat depending on how cold it is that day. So yeah, so it's nice to have an extra coat underneath my thicker coat. And then also I'll also wear a hoodie underneath my second coat as well, depending on how cold it is too. Just builds up extra layers. So this is my Strena camouflage sweater, and I've worn this, and I usually wear this sweater for my early season archery hunts, and basically I also wear this during my turkey hunts as well during the spring. So, and even also, I've never wore this for waterfowl, but yeah, so usually I'll wear this underneath all my two other coats that I wear, and then yeah, but then I have a little bit of a bigger coat here, also Realtree, but it also has not just the camouflage on it here, because like this is a pretty thick coat that I have on here, and yeah, it fits pretty good, keeps me nice and warm in the stand. So during like archery season, like a late season archery hunt where I don't have to wear blaze orange, most of the time I will just zip this coat up and basically just, it sits very nice, keeps me nice and warm, nice and toasty when I'm in the stand, and it's actually very comfortable. But also too, like I also wear this during rifle season too, or muzzleloader season, because I'm required to wear blazed orange during muzzleloader season. I could just strip this down from camouflage, and if I need an extra coat, I will sometimes strip this down and have a full blazed orange hunting coat. And normally I wear that during rifle season mostly, but muzzleloader season I mostly just wear the vest, orange vest during muzzleloader season. So yeah, so that's one of the coats that I usually wear during late season hunts. But the thing is about, just get this thing back in together. The one thing about in December is weather could vary. Like, it could be very, very extremely cold, and when you're walking to your stand, either in the early part of the morning or evening, and you're wearing all this thick gear on you, especially like me, I have a thick glands of sweat, and when I sweat so much, it basically, I get warm. And then if I'm sweating so much and I'm sitting in a deer stand or in a blind for a long period of time, and the weather's cold and I'm sitting still, that's when the cold sets in, and it's pretty, basically when you're sweating a whole bunch, you start to freeze up, and it's just like, yeah, it's not a very good day in the stand if you're really cold. And knowing me, I really do not like being cold, so let alone hot. So yeah, so when I'm heading to my stand, some of the time I won't even wear a thick coat or anything like that. I'll just wear light clothing and then dress myself up and then I'm sitting in the blind and try to keep myself as warm as possible. But also have a good set of bibs too. I have a good set of bibs, but those bibs were ruined, so I got myself these Realtree pants for my setup too. But yeah, they're a good setup, keep me warm. And yeah, so go over my hats too. So I have basically this regular Realtree hat, and I have a couple other Realtree hats that I wear. And most of the time I take a regular cap because when I self-film my hunts, I have to wear a strap to hold my GoPro on my hat. So if I just wear a toque, I can't really do that. So I usually use my light strap, my lantern I wear for the lantern, so I can put the camera on it. So I wrap the camera around the hat, and then I put a toque over the hat, and if I wear a toque over my hat, it keeps my ears warm. So that's what I usually use. And the same thing, I have another hat too that I could wear when I usually wear during late season, but you never really see me in the videos wear it. But this is like a Realtree hat that looks like one of those mountain men style hats. So keeps your ears warm. So sometimes I can fold it up like this, then put it over my head, and it looks like an Eskimo hat. So I have the straps in the back there, and it just makes the hat look like this. And then I can just unstrap it and then strap it around my neck. So it keeps my ears warm when I'm in the stand. So really comfortable for late season deer hunting. So that's another hat that I usually will wear. And then during muzzleloader season, like I said with the bigger coat, you're required to wear blazed orange during muzzleloader season. So I have usually when I'm doing my muzzleloader hunts, I usually will wear the orange vest instead of the big thick orange coat. So I'll sometimes just put this over my regular clothes, and then the vest here, and then we also got my orange cap with my orange toque. So that's what I usually will wear for my muzzleloader hunts. I also have an orange version of this hat, but I put it away in storage and I don't know where I put it. So there's two options of that for warm clothing. And then another camouflage pattern that I do wear half the time is, depending on how I'm hunting. If I'm hunting in a blind, I'll just have my regular Realtree on. But if I'm going to be hunting in a stand or on the ground during a late season archery hunt, I will sometimes wear the snow camouflage right here. So I just recently got the snow camouflage, got this used, and mostly I use it for coyote hunting in the winter. And it's just a nice little setup for basically being a bit more concealed in the snow. So I have basically a snow camouflage coat and a snow colored camouflage pants too. So I have that for also my late season setup. So that's pretty much most of my clothing that I have. And another thing in my late season gear that you will pretty much really need is gloves. And I keep losing gloves, and I always have to buy them every year, and I'm not really organized with everything that comes with gloves. So I have some pair of gloves here. Even regular gloves that I wear, like this, are usually good for my setup, usually. These are just regular gloves that I've got. I also have some camouflage gloves, but it's hard to find some of these gears. I keep losing gear half the time, so, and I just keep buying more. So, and another thing about late season hunting is boots, because you're gonna be traveling through some thick snow. So I have boots here. I wear usually rubber boots. I have other boots that I use too, but most of the time I use rubber boots. And the biggest thing with me is also keeping my feet warm. So a good thick pair of socks work out perfectly good for a good late season hunt. Keep your feet warm, keeps your whole body warm. Beautiful day. So yeah, that's basically my clothing setup for late season deer hunting. It's just a matter of trying to keep myself warm in the stand and all that. So that's basically what you really need to do. Your best goal is to try to keep yourself warm as possible when you're sitting up in the deer stand. So that's my clothing setup. Now we're gonna go with whatever else stuff. Okay, so now we got the other stuff in the setup here. So we did all the clothing and covered everything. So we got now is my knife for field dressing. So I have this Browning knife that I usually use, and I've used this for quite a long time. And I've used this knife has been used on a couple of deer. I also have a couple other knives that I use too. But then I just recently also got this butt out. And this actually helps with, you guess what? It moves, you basically use it to, on a field dressed deer, and it takes the anus out of the deer. So I also have that also in my setup, the butt out. And I'm going into my pack here. I never really cleaned out this pack very much, but I have a few things that's also in the pack here. Got another knife that's in there too, so I have another knife as well. This is just a regular buck knife, so you say. And that's also in my late season setup as well. Normally in my whole deer hunting setup. And then we also have my, it's in here too, my film camera. And what I'm not actually using a GoPro right now. I actually have one of these action cameras that I've been using, the HD cameras. And I also have that also in my gear setup as well. There isn't really much in my pack right now. I mean, all the biggest thing that I usually have for my late season hunts is basically to try to keep myself warm as possible in the stand. And that's basically my main goal, is to keep myself warm, keep myself comfortable, and it should be a good hunt. So that's pretty much everything that I have for gear wise. So that's pretty much it for my late season whitetail hunting gear. Of course, it's not everything that I wear or anything that I really much use. Like, I use all of this stuff, but I have a majority of other stuff that I use. Like the biggest thing also I forgot to add in this video is hand warmers. Hand warmers will be your best friend in the stand. You can always buy them at any store, like a hardware store or your outdoor shops, or like Cabela's, Bass Pro, all those places, Princess Auto, Canadian Tire, pretty much anywhere that you can get all this your gear needs, you can get yourself a nice pair of hand warmers, which is a thing I highly recommend wearing, because it is definitely a game changer when you're out deer hunting during the late season hunt. So yeah, so anyways, that's my gear setup for late season. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I know I've got some deer hunting videos that are possibly going to be way behind this year, so hope you guys enjoy the deer hunting videos, the content, general outdoors content, and I hope you guys continue to stay tuned and watch more. So either ways, guys, that's going to be it for the video. If you guys like this video, make sure you guys put a like. If you guys are not subscribed to SW Outdoors, make sure you guys click the subscribe button and click the notification bell when the latest videos are, and I will catch you guys in the next video. SW Outdoors, signing out.